BMRForum.com and BMRodds.com, boys. What is going on? Welcome back to the lobby, episode number 136. Hopefully everyone is doing well out there, and hopefully everyone out there is well fed, with the exception of Mr. Sam's in charge, as we are. What hour are we coming up on, Sammy?
No, I ate this morning. Yeah.
This morning. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't been following the thread. Yeah, I had some eggs and sausage this morning.
Okay.
It was about 60 hours. I made it through.
Wow.
Again, my strategy was perfect. I ate Sunday night, which then I didn't snack Sunday night, go into the morning. There's 12 hours. I worked all day, didn't eat. There's another 12 hours. So there's 24 hours. Then I go to bed, wake up. There's 36 hours worked. I wouldn't say I struggled, but last night around like 9 to 10-ish, when I was like just chilling, watching tennis, I was definitely feeling some grumbles. But I survived. And then basically once I woke up this morning, I was on like hour 60 and I was like, nope, I'm eating. And normally on my day off, I won't eat. Like if I eat breakfast, I'm not eating till like 9, 10-ish or something. Right. I ate at like 7:30 this morning. I had 4 eggs and 4 pieces of sausage. I haven't eaten since. But then I'm going to eat tonight. I'm going to have some rice. I'm going to have some corn. I'm not doing this regularly. I just did it again because I talk shit to Jerky. So I had to prove that I could do it. A little mental challenge. And I told everyone that I would do something. And I put my money where my mouth is. But I lost 5 pounds, which was great.
Okay.
And, basically the goal moving forward is just not to snack as much, But I haven't had weed since Sunday. I haven't had whiskey since Sunday. I will be going out tomorrow to buy some weed, but I'm going to see how long I can go without the whiskey. Probably the weekend might get me. But yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to be starting this healthy lifestyle and anything like that, but I'm just, cognizant on trying to keep a certain weight. I hit 170, and for me, that's more than I should be, even though it's a healthy weight. I should be low 160s. So, just basically don't snack as much. Don't drink every single night, but I should be able to smoke because I like that feeling, the relaxation, the zenness, the stress relief, and I like how my brain works while I'm high.
Is that something, the fasting, even if it's for 24 hours, do you see yourself as something you could do, monthly?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's pretty easy. Like I was mentioning to Jeannie, like let's just say you eat dinner at 7 o'clock at night and then you just don't snack, right? And then you go to bed, you wake up, there's 12 hours. If you skip breakfast and then just go to lunch at, call it 12, you just did 17 hours. Yeah. So most people probably do 12 to 15 hours, not even realizing it. You know what I mean? So it's really not as hard as you might think. Really, when you get to the day mark, it's just more mental. I obviously had a ton of fluids, a lot of water, a little bit of Gatorade. If I was to go today on day 3, I definitely would have done more research, nutrients, vitamins, because I don't want to, again, I'm not David Blaine. I'm not doing this for Mr. Beast for $250,000. There's no challenge. So if I was going to go 3, 4, 5, 6 days, I would definitely do it the right way to make sure I'm not really hurting my body. But 2 days, no food. Like Jerky said, you kind of just go off your fat. I still had energy. I posted some dancing videos last night. 24 hours is pretty easy.
Last question, real quick. Next time, what would you do differently, if anything?
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, definitely the strategy was perfect. You eat heavy at dinner the night beforehand. I did it intentionally on a Monday, Tuesday, because I work both those days. So it's easy for my brain and my body just to be focused on work and not have to worry about eating. Today's my day off, which I'm home. It's 9 degrees outside. It's brick. Can't be golfing, not doing yard work. I could be doing other stuff, right? But like really, I'm at home for most of the day. And, you have your most temptation when you're at home in front of your food all day. Plus, I was starting to feel in the grumbles a little bit. If I did work today, how long would I go? Not too sure, but 60 hours was good.
Perfect. And apparently, according to Jerky, and I believe according to yourself, I'm next on the chopping block.
You are next on the chopping block. Again, use my strategy. Eat heavy for dinner and then just see how long you can go the next day. Fluids.
I think I could definitely do 24. I don't know if I can push it to 48, but I'm going to start with 24, see how that goes.
And think about it this way, and not to knock you, right? You're on this weight loss journey for 2.5 years. You've lost 2 pounds. I did this for 2 days and I lost 5 pounds. So not knocking you being slightly heavier, you're going to easily lose water weight. You would probably lose 8 to 10 pounds in a day or two. Again, you're going to gain some of it back, but it's just about maintaining at least a little self-control on some of the snacks. Although we do love your food reviews. It's, I also don't drink soda either, so I know that's a big sugar thing that that doesn't help. But really, just for me, less snacking, a little bit more fruit, and a little bit less whiskey, and then I'll be able to maintain it.
All righty, Reload. What's up, buddy? How you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, doing well here. Boy, that's really a lot with the fasting there. But you're right. Yeah, it's not all that hard to fast for maybe 16 hours, 18 hours. You can do that pretty easily. I know I've had times where I have a big dinner and like say a big prime rib or something, and there's kind of that slow burn the next day. Like you kind of don't feel like you need to eat. I got to get back into something like that sometime. Even if I did that once a week or something, or once every couple of weeks would be good. But in the winter, it's eat. We need the comfort, and the cold is here. So I especially respect Sammy for doing it in the winter like this. I think it'd be a lot easier in the summer. So hats off to Sammy.
Thank you. And again, we know Donnie. Donnie used to do it. We know big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau. Oh, yeah. He lost some weight. Frank the Tank from Barstool, he's lost a lot of weight. So I mean, it's sometimes not about calories in. It's about doing something, walking or doing some type of working out to also burn off some calories.
Exactly, Sammy. Let me jump over to you. We've got a little daily NBA. A lot of games on the slate tonight. What are you looking at?
And of course, the Knicks are playing. Now the Knicks are, let's talk about the Knicks. The Knicks are losers of 9 of 11. I've talked about them for the last couple of weeks. Obviously, I'm a big fan of them. They won the NBA League Cup, and they've been on a horrible losing streak since. Losers of 9 of 11. They did have a players-only meeting last night, so hopefully that refocuses them. They do have a slightly easy matchup tonight, 12-point favorites over the Nets. But, obviously, my job, I have a lot of Knicks fans. The way I look at it is, yes, it sucks that we're having this lull right now, but let it happen now. The regular season is just the preview for the NBA playoffs. The Knicks are in a great spot. They're going to make the playoffs. The playoffs is really what matters the most, and about being healthy. So let their players get a little healthy. Let Jalen Brunson get a little bit healthier, because last year what screwed them in the Eastern Conference Finals was they had some injuries. So if they can be healthy, I know we haven't even hit All-Star break yet. We're still 3 months away. But you know what? They're allowed to have a little bit of lull. Let's refocus. Hopefully the players-only meeting will help shape them up and move them forward. I'm not betting that game tonight, but I do like 3 other favorites. Detroit minus 9.5 over New Orleans. Oklahoma City minus 11 over the Bucks. And I like Toronto minus 6 over the Kings. And then looking at college basketball, I don't have any bets tonight necessarily for college, especially because tennis is at 7, 8 o'clock. So that kind of takes up all of my time. But Arizona, Nebraska still undefeated. Arizona number 1, Nebraska number 7. Duke's up to number 5. And then you got UConn, Michigan, Purdue as 2, 3, 4. So last week I talked about how a ton of teams are less than 1 wins. Now with conference play, you got some teams in the top 10 with 2 losses. And again, throughout the next month and a half with conference play, most of these teams are going to end up with 2, 3, 4 losses. It's just about who's hot come March Madness.
All righty, Sammy, thank you. Reload, over to you. NBA and college basketball tonight. What do you got?
Yeah, well, as usual, I'm the opposite of Sammy on a couple of games here. I've got the New Orleans Pelicans plus 9.5 hosting Detroit. I know Sammy had the Pistons, but I like New Orleans here. They've come through for me a few times as one of these bigger home dogs. They are 7-1 against the spread as a home dog of 8 or more. The Pistons, first road spot in a while for them. I don't know how up they'll be for this game out of conference and on the road. They are 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 as a road favorite. So I'm going with the Pelicans. Another game I like, the Sacramento Kings plus 5.5. Sammy at Toronto. It's an interesting game. Both teams are in a back-to-back spot here. The Kings are off a loss at home. Toronto is off a win at Golden State. So I like the number here with the Kings plus 5.5, even went up a point earlier today. So that's the Pelicans and the Kings for me in the NBA. College hoops, I like a couple of games too. Texas plus 6.5 at Kentucky. Texas is 2-1 against the spread. Their last 3 road spots. They're off a loss to A&M. So I look for them to bounce back here and have a close one with Kentucky, enough to get the cover. I also like Arizona State tonight, minus 1.5 in a later game against West Virginia, hosting West Virginia as a short home favorite. minus 1.5. I think WVU is going to be looking ahead a little here. They've got Arizona over the weekend, which is a much bigger game. And West Virginia in general has had a lot of home road disparity. They seem to do really well at home, but not the same on the road. And I think they're going to take this one a little light. I see a big win for Arizona State, minus the 1.5 here.
All righty, Reload. Thank you. John Harbaugh is headed to the Giants, Sammy. I know you're up that way. He did great with Baltimore. What do you see him? What do you see his future in?
18 years with Baltimore, so that's definitely the coach that was like, he got fired on a Monday and he got hired on a Friday, and every team wanted him. And then like a team like the Bills fired McDermott the week after. Then it's like, oh, Harbaugh already signed. Now, obviously, I'm a Cowboy fan, so Giants are in the division, but I also respect, the team. Again, a lot of Giant fans in my network and stuff. I genuinely like the Giants team. I think they do have a lot of promise moving forward. Cam Scatterboot fucking tore his knee. That was crazy. And then same with Neighbors, you know what I mean? But they got Jackson Dart. They got Malik Neighbors. They got Cam Scatterboot. They have young talent on the team. They got the lineman that they drafted last year. They're going to have another top. I think they have the number 6 pick overall. So they are in a position to have their core for maybe 4 to 6 years. So for the Giants, all they really needed maybe was someone to lead them, someone to coach them. And who else is better than someone like Harbaugh? Now, you can knock Harbaugh 18 years. I don't know. Did he win a Super Bowl in Baltimore? I think he might have won a Super Bowl with Flacco. And then, he's been to a bunch of playoffs, probably a lot of disappointment on some of those teams not being able to make it. They didn't make it to the Super Bowl yet with Lamar Jackson. So that's a little bit disappointing. But Harbaugh, I think, is going to be great for the culture of New York. They got a lot of young talent. And I think if they draft right and with the coaching, that they have the ability to turn that franchise around. It's funny because as a Cowboy fan, since 1995, they haven't even made it to the NFC Championship game, but they've made a crap ton of playoffs. The Giants notoriously have stunk over the last 20 years, but they got 2 Super Bowls out of absolute nowhere with Eli Manning in the wild card. And one of those was in Dallas was the 1 seed and Giants beat them in the divisional round. But, it's like, would you rather have the Cowboys that are consistently kind of a good team and then they're always making the playoffs but lose, or the Giants that are horrible Super Bowl, horrible Super Bowl? So, the Giants that have been horrible, but they got 2 Super Bowls in the last, 25, 30 years.
All righty. Thank you, Sammy. Reload, your thoughts on the Harbaugh signing.
Yeah, I think it's not going to help right away. I think next year the Giants probably still are a losing team. I looked at the schedule already. They lucked out with some of their home games, who they get coming here, but the road schedule looks pretty brutal. And I still see them having a losing record next year, maybe improving in the couple of years after that, after there's time to build more of a team. Harbaugh, the thing with John Harbaugh, yeah, he won the Super Bowl once, but he had a pretty elite team then. Remember, that was the Ray Lewis, Ed Reed defense. That was Joe Flacco when he was a pretty elite quarterback. And that was when they faced the Niners in the Super Bowl, which, I think they were a little overhyped going into that game too. So he's a better coach than most of them out there available, definitely. He was probably the top guy to get. Think about it right now. Like Buffalo has an opening now with Josh Allen, a quarterback. I'm sure, they would have probably considered Harbaugh.
Right.
There are definitely other spots he could have landed that he might have been able to win a little right away and maybe just been that final chip in the nucleus to get bigger playoffs or something like that. Now he's got to go to a team that's still kind of in the middle of rebuilding. And how about Buffalo? Like, who's going to end up with that spot? That'll be interesting, too. There's so many open spots right now. Some of these hot coordinators that just have a heartbeat will probably end up being head coaches.
Yeah.
So, John Harbaugh, yeah, it's a good signing, but I don't see it helping right away. We'll see.
All righty. Thank you, Reload. Sammy, UFC 324 is this Saturday right here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Have you taken a look at the card?
Yeah, so UFC's finally back. My brother is actually a huge UFC fan. It kind of started during COVID when there was no sports and UFC was the first sport to come back. So my brother's been following along. I mean, we pretty much watch normally on ESPN, we watch it from 7 to 10, then it goes to pay-per-view. I never pay for the pay-per-view, but
Right.
now with Paramount, it's $89.99 for the year and you get all the pay-per-views. So instead of paying like $1,200 for all of ESPN plus the pay-per-views, you spend $90 and you get it all year. So I'm super pumped for that. I'm definitely going to be watching a little bit more of the main events and the main card than mainly the prelims. And then you watch it the next morning. And they got a great card this weekend. Paddy the Baddy is in the main event against Justin Gaethje. He's a little bit of a favorite. They're both great strikers. I think Paddy has the advantage if they go to grappling. Gaethje is definitely more of a striker. He doesn't want to be on the mat, where Paddy is a great submissioner. So I think that's going to be the strategy, is to try and get him on the mat and then end up with the submission. You also got Sean O'Malley on the card against Song Yadong. And then Derek Lewis, who is the greatest heavyweight knockout of all time. He's plus 250, and he always has knockout power. He's a guy in the last couple of years that is losing, that out of nowhere gets a fucking haymaker, knocks the guy out. So, Derek Lewis could definitely have that. So I'm definitely excited for the UFC to come back. I'm not a huge UFC bettor. Maybe pick my spots, maybe like a little money line parlay or something. But I'll definitely be watching. UFC is one of those sports that I actually enjoy watching without the need to bet. NBA will not watch it without betting, but UFC, hockey, tennis, football, I can watch it without betting.
All righty, thank you. So, reload over to you. UFC in Vegas this weekend. Did you take a look at it? What do you like?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I got the Paramount annual subscription. I even splurged. I got the one with no ads. So I
wow.
I think that was what, $130?
120, 119 for the year.
Yeah.
I went all out. I got the no ad subscription for the year, and it's been good. I've even been catching up on shows like Landman and some of the good ones on there. But UFC, looking forward to it. It'll be nice having it on Paramount where you can see the whole card. Like Sammy, a lot of times I just kind of cheaped it out, just watching the prelims and kind of getting all hyped up. And then, the main card, I would just kind of look on Twitter for updates and things like that to see what was going on. If I really wanted to watch a card, I'd go out to a bar or something like that. Some of the bars around here show it. So it'll be nice having it right on the phone on Paramount. You could just watch the card. And I think Paramount is going to put a lot of stock into this with some good cards and matchups. Being that you don't have to pay for a pay-per-view anymore, that's an advantage. But we also want to make sure the cards don't have less quality, that they still are worth tuning in for. And they're starting out pretty well here with the first couple of them. There's also the plans for the big White House card that is supposed to happen in the summer, and that's still being put together. I also think that they're going to try to have some of the more marketable fighters on the cards that people want to see and tune in for. And that all starts with Saturday. You mentioned Sean O'Malley. I think of him as one of those fighters. There was a lot of buzz over him a couple of years ago. He won the big title fight in Boston. He got all the buzz. They thought he was like, the next Conor McGregor or something. And then he kind of just fell by the wayside. Lost a couple of fights in a row now. I think this is his get-right fight, if there was such a thing. It's tough laying like minus 190, but I think I'm going to do it for a half unit just to be entertained with that one with Sean O'Malley trying to come back. He's already got an after party set up after the fight, everything. So this is a lot riding on this one. I think he's putting a lot into it. I also like Rose Namajunas. Long time female fighter, getting plus 300 here as a live dog.
Yep.
I'm liking the price on that one too. That's going to be worth a half unit, and she's still very marketable as well. If she wins this, I think she'll be in pretty good shape again. So those are the two fights I've looked at so far. I don't have much interest in the main, but I'll watch it for sure. And you never know what else will jump out at me. Usually around the time of the weigh-ins, I look at the odds, see how they move. And that's when I tend to make my wagers. So I'm looking forward to it.
All righty. Awesome. Thank you. Sammy, I know you're going to have a busy weekend with the Aussie Open coming up. What do you like?
Hell yeah, Aussie Open and ESPN Unlimited, which whatever, it's bullshit, but you got ESPN, ESPN Plus, ESPN Unlimited. I do have the ESPN Unlimited. Hate to admit it, but
Real fast, Sam, let me just stop you real fast. Let me just make a point. Even you're saying about the UFC, now you're saying about ESPN Unlimited. There's tons of websites out there. Why don't you just stream everything?
I maybe am not skilled enough, or I don't know the sites, or I don't care enough to try to work around it, because then you got ads and then the stream goes down and maybe the feed cuts or this or that. And like the worst thing for a gambler is to rage out because your stream went down and things like that. So
true.
like, I'm not saying I have a ton of money, but like I'm not that broke where I can't just afford it. I'm not calling out the people that want to stream illegally. Good for them. I'm not saying I would ever get caught because I have thousands of bootleg DVDs. Not that those matter anymore because no one watches DVDs. But like, I just pay for it, and it is what it is. But ESPN with the unlimited, they do have a quad box for tennis, which is awesome. So yesterday on TV1, I had a 4-screen, and then on TV2, I had just an individual match. So technically, I'm watching 5 matches at once, which is a dream for dream for our generation that needs multiple screens, multiple things going on. I can't just watch one thing at once. So watching 5 screens at once is like perfect because I actually can pay attention to everything. But so far, the Australian Open is going to form. Not a lot of big upsets, which is cool. Upsets are cool, but on the other side, once you get to like the round of 16, the quarterfinals, if you have a lot of the major seeds, you're going to have some awesome matchups. Ironically, for the Aussie Open, we're 4 days in. I'm 22-18, so I'm up like 1 unit. So I'm 40 picks in, and I'm barely up profit. But hey, profit is profit. I got 11 picks tonight. So hopefully we got some winners. I know Jerky's been following along. He's been winning a little bit of money. So, hey, plus money is better than minus money. And, it starts at 7, and then I go to bed around like 10 to 11-ish. And then even this morning I woke up and I was able to watch the Francis Tiafoe match, which didn't get over till like 7:45. So, I can as it comes to the later matches, the matches won't start till like 9 or 10. So in those scenarios, what I like to do is go to sleep earlier, maybe at like 9, and then I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to watch some of the matches before, I go to work at 8. So, you got to work with the sleep schedule, but tennis, I will lose some sleep to watch the matches.
Awesome. Thank you. And you're exactly right. Profit is definitely profit. Reload, over to you. I want to talk the college football, the Miami, Indiana game with you for a minute, but real quick, what's your thoughts on streaming versus paying for the streaming services?
Well, yeah, like I have a lot of the apps that you could have, not every one of them, but when something
there's too many. To your point, real quick, there's too many different ones. You got to go to this app to see this and that app to see that. They should really look to condense.
It's kind of like how cable TV all started at the beginning. First there was HBO, then there was Cinemax, then there was Showtime. It all kind of started that way, and there started to be too many other premium channels, and then they started trying to bundle them and everything else. Maybe we'll see the same thing someday with apps and streaming and all that. At least there are a handful of bundles around, like you can get, ESPN and Disney together and Hulu and all that. A few different ones like that. I have a bundle with Verizon that lets me get both Netflix and HBO Max together for only $10 a month with ads.
Oh, wow. That's not bad at all.
That's a nice deal. Yeah. I'd like to see more deals like that, maybe through some of the internet providers. Hopefully we'll come to that someday. And I think you're going to just see, more apps just get subscribed to. You see what goes on with the NFL games. Each one of them's on a different one. And they just start to make people, force people to start buying the subscriptions, even if it's just, I'll subscribe for 1 month and cancel it. You get a lot of those kind of people. So it'd be nice to see something better someday, but I think we're in for this for a while. So we'll see.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. But let's talk that Indiana-Miami game.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had Miami plus the points, and that was a nice effort in the second half to cash that. I did lose with the under by a hair, but that's how it goes sometimes with totals. Good game. Hats off to Indiana for a great season. I faded them a number of times. They still cashed most of the time against me, but again, you finally see here in a championship game where they were a little overinflated and taking Miami plus the points. I'm sure if the Miami money line hit and Miami won outright, we'd see a lot of big partying there. And the Hard Rock Sportsbook in Miami might have gone out of business. I think if that happened in Florida, that's all I was hearing was it was all Miami, the futures, everything. Add it all up, it would have really tanked them hard. So I think the bookmakers got what they wanted with the dog covering but not winning. That's usually how they make out well, and it keeps the lights on. So here we go. So that's what I had. Next season will be interesting. Guys are already in the transfer portal. Boy, that didn't take long.
No,
right after the game. So I don't know. Can Indiana do it again? It's going to be pretty tough if everybody sticks around, and I'm sure they're going to want to stick around. They're going to want to try to do it again, and we'll see what happens with some of the coaching and some of the other teams. But it's tough when you're the champ. You're going to have a target on your back all season, and we'll see what happens with that Big Ten schedule.
All righty. Thank you, Reload. Sammy, over to you. Did you watch the Miami-Indiana game?
Oh, yeah. I was up for all of it, which, again, helped because I wasn't eating, drinking, or smoking. So I was able just to be awake and actually watch the game. But, yeah, I mean, how good is Vegas? The point spread was 7.5, and they were won by 6, and the over-under missed by like a point or something like that. So, of course, Vegas in the biggest game of the year is perfect onto that. But it was a great national title game. I mean, in the end of the day, Miami was down by 6 with 1:50 to go with the ball. That's like every kid growing up in the scenario that they want to be in with a chance to win the game. So it was a great game. And then obviously Indiana came out on top. Is Indiana in that argument for greatest team of all time? Maybe, based off how many 4-star, 3-star recruits. They had no 5-star recruits on the team. They had 6 top 10 wins this season, which is awesome. They were undefeated, which hasn't happened in forever. And as a team, in their history of Indiana, they had 6 top 10 wins all time, and they had 6 this season. So it was a really exciting season, a really exciting game. I really hope the coach doesn't leave and go to the NFL or do something silly. He's a great coach. He brought the team from 3 wins all the way up to 16 wins. So I hope they stay. I think I already saw in the transfer portal that a TCU quarterback moved over to Indiana. Obviously, Mendoza is going to be number 1, probably going to Vegas. So you'll be able to see him over there, Bobby, next year.
Yep. All righty, Sammy. Thank you. Reload, let me jump back over to you, buddy. While a divisional round weekend in the NFL, how was it for you?
That was good. Went 2-1 with my bets. I cashed with the Broncos and the Chicago Bears. Boy, that second half with Chicago.
That Bears game was amazing. I was watching it at the South Point, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just barely cashed that by the hook. It looked hopeless. I mean, it just seemed like, wow, this is done. It's over. And then that big touchdown, the touchdown out of nowhere is what they'll probably keep calling it. And then the overtime, boy, the Bears really a chance to even win it outright.
Yeah.
They didn't. You got to give credit to the Rams defense, too. I think they don't get enough credit. They stopped the Bears in a few big situations there. In the cold weather, they had to bail Stafford out a little bit, and they came through. So I cashed both of those. I did lose with the Broncos-Bills under, which went over by a mile, but it's still like an exciting game to watch. And I still had to cash the Broncos, so that was some game as well there. Are we doing next week now too?
Yeah, do the conference. Do it.
All right. Yeah. So conference championship Sunday. Really one of my favorite days of the year. I've been in Vegas for it a couple of times. A lot of buzz in the air all the time. It's 2 great games all the time. And
yes.
So far, I like the Broncos plus the points as a home dog against the Patriots. I know, we're down to the backup quarterback and all that, but I think it's just a pretty tough spot for the Patriots. I looked at the Patriots' schedule. I think they haven't had a game more west than Cincinnati all season. How could that be in the schedule? Who makes that schedule? It's unbelievable. So now they're going to have to go the furthest west they have all season to Denver. Not the easiest place to play to start with. And the Broncos, I think Sean Payton, you still have to give him the coaching edge over the Patriots, and you're getting 5.5 points at home. 5.5-point home dogs never lose, guys. They always cash. We know that. It goes back ages and ages. So it's Broncos plus the points for me there. The second game was Seattle and the Rams. It's tough for me to take a side in that one. The Rams, this is going to be their third straight week on the road playoff games. I know it's Seattle, it's a divisional team and all that, but how much do they really have left for that game after going through what they did here? So it's hard for me to take the Rams. It's also hard for me to take Seattle off a blowout win. It seems like they've been coasting a lot lately, and they're laying the short number. So they're kind of just begging you to take Seattle there.
Right.
I'm going to avoid the side and just go with the under. I think that's the play here. I know the last game the Seahawks and Rams they had a high-scoring game earlier this season. So we get maybe a little value in the total because of that. I think in a playoff game, it's much different. It's going to be played tighter, big divisional rivalry, and a ticket to the Super Bowl on the line. I think you're going to see a tighter game there. And as I said, the Rams defense played really well last week. Seattle's defense has been great too. So under in the NFC title game. And I do think Seattle squeaks it out. And we're looking at Seattle and maybe Denver, the 2 1 seeds, making the Super Bowl, which is what I figured from the beginning.
All righty, Reload. Thank you. Sammy, over to you. How was your divisional round weekend, and what do you got coming up for the conference championship games?
Yeah, last week, of course, just being me, I was on both horrific bad beats. I went 2-2. That should have went 4-0. Buffalo Bills, Cooks caught the ball. That's it. Cooks caught the ball. They kick a 30-yard field goal. Buffalo Bill wins the game. And then how did Caleb Williams hit like a jump, like a Derek Jeter behind the back, going in the air, 40 yards. The guy's wide open in the corner of the end zone. Of course, I am on the wrong side of horrific bad beats. That's just me. So that sucked, but I did go 2-2. In reference to this weekend, it would be tough, I think, from the NFL, right? You're really going to see if the fix is in. Do they really want Stidham in the Super Bowl, or are they going to want the MVP candidate versus the other potential MVP candidate in the Super Bowl? It's going to be hard to go against New England, maybe on the money line. I like the under 42.5. And then on the Rams, Seattle, again, it's hard to pick a side. I ultimately already bet NFC to win over the AFC, so I already have. So I don't care, I guess, who wins it. But I'm against Reload, of course. I like the over. I think the Rams' offense was pretty bad last weekend, but it also was a freezing cold game. I think with the warmer weather, the last time they won, it was like 39-38, a classic. I'm not saying it's going to score 75 or 80 points, but I think that they're going to go over the 47. And then, again, whoever is in there, NFC, whoever's in their AFC, I'm already going the NFC to beat the AFC. And then looking at the preview lines, it looks like Rams and Seattle are both going to be about 2 points over New England and about 7 points over Denver.
All righty, Sammy. Thank you. And guys, good luck on all your NFL and other sports action this upcoming week. And we will see you guys on the forum.
See you.